Dasi. On behalf of her family, friends, and community, I want to thank you so much for making the effort and the time to come here to honor her and honor the life she lived. She was an exemplary Vaishnavi, a loving mother, a devoted wife, and a kind friend to all of us. So today we come here to honor her life. And when a devotee like her leaves this world, it's actually a win for them because they're in a much, much better place. But the real loss is for us because we lose their association. So today we come here to mourn her and mourn that loss, but also to celebrate her life, celebrate the fact that we knew her and that we loved her and that we were loved by her and that we walked the earth at the same time she did. So to start off today, I'd like to invite her family who has joined us on Zoom to speak a little bit. So the first person will be her niece, Gopi. She's here. Followed by her brother-in-law and Suchi.
Krishna. Hey, Krishna, please let me know if I'm audible. Okay, thank you. I can just see a bunch of thumbs up, so I cannot see all of your faces, but Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. It is said that it is very difficult to comprehend the magnitude of the sacrifice that is done by those that come before us, and today is one such day. I was asked to share some of my fondest memories and reflections of the moments that I have shared with Gita Ma, also known as Gandharvika Radha Devi Dasi to many of you, disciple of His Holiness Jayapatak Swami Maharaj. One of my earliest memories of interacting with Gita Ma was when I was 7.5 years old. And my most recent memory with her was on the day of Nirjala Ekadashi last year when we read Srimad Bhagavatam together. And the one constant point that I took away was that she was always inquisitive. And it is said that due to our past life karmas and samskaras that our parents do, we're born in different families with different qualities. But the most important quality that differentiates a normal person from a Vaishnava is their Vaishnav Sadachar, the humility. In the Bible, it's mentioned that blessed are the meek, for they're fortunate to inherit the kingdom of God. And when we think about people in our life nowadays, humility and meekness is not the first quality that comes to mind. But Gita Ma was one such an exception. She would ask me so many questions, even when I was 7.5 years old, and she would listen to my answers, even though I was doing the job of a parrot and just repeating whatever I had heard her share with me before this. And during one of such conversations, I asked her that, is there anything that you regret? Something that you would do differently? And she very simply said, I wish I had served the Vaishnavas more. And I was expecting her to say that I wish I'd chanted more rounds, I wish I'd fasted on more Ekadashis, cooked more Sunday feast meals. But it was as simple as I wish that I would be able to serve the Vaishnavas more. And it was seen during her last moments by the number of prayers that she received, the number of devotees that came to meet her, how close she held the importance of being able to serve Vaishnavas. A safety point for me has always been the encouragement that spiritual seniors have told that it's so fortunate that you've been born in a devotee family. And when I think back, I don't think it would have been possible for me to be able to gain that safety and security without her sacrifice, without her endeavor to bring Krishna consciousness to our family. So it is a debt, and it is that gratitude that fills my heart today that I will never be able to repay, and that probably 2 minutes is not enough to express. So even though I know and I'm conscious of the fact that she has joined her eternal family, and like rightly said by her, that she's probably in a better place, It is an irreplaceable loss that we face as a family and as a community. And I hope that the same mercy that filled her life, by the grace of Krishna and all the devotees, continues to fill our lives as well. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Gopi. Next will be Sundar Krishna Prabhu, followed by Suchi.
Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
Yes.
Hare Krishna to all of you, and thanks to Sanatan Sundar Prabhu and his family for inviting us to share our thoughts on this day. And my prostrate obeisances to all the devotees present there. So, Gandharvika Radha, I came in touch with her close to 25 years back, maybe a little more than most of you. So, because my wife got married in her family. So, being the son-in-law in their family and being the brother-in-law of Gandharvika, so I always had a very special affection from her family, including Gandharvika. And the last 25 years, though she moved to USA sometime in late 2000, and so physically, in terms of distance, we were quite apart because I was traveling. I mean, I was living most of my time in this part of the world. But whenever we had the opportunity to meet up, I have very, very fond memories of the time that I spent with her, especially during our visit to USA in 2008 and 2011. The time that we spent gave me a peep into her life, like in terms of her sincerity and in terms of her commitment to the path of Krishna consciousness. I very vividly remember how strong a fighter she was in Krishna consciousness, because Prabhupada, as Prabhupada says, like when you start surrendering to Krishna, you're actually declaring a war. So she always used to be a friend, philosopher, and guide for me and my family. And especially in the last 4-5 years after it was diagnosed that she was having cancer, the amount of depth and the amount of commitment that she showed to both Krishna consciousness and to fight out the disease. Okay, so it's incredible to see someone so close to you fighting both these battles, fighting the battle of Maya on one hand and also fighting the battle of trying to save your life. She wanted to live more because she wanted, as my daughter was sharing, that she wanted to really serve the Vaishnavas. And her passing away was so glorious because as family, we were all together in that room. And we were all chanting, and we had the great fortune of His Holiness Bhaktivinoda Swami visiting her just a few minutes before that, and he brought the Maha Garland from Jagannath Temple of ISKCON with all the other paraphernalia which has been used in the worship of the Lord. And all of them were placed just a few minutes before that, she passing away. So it all shows like how merciful the Lord is. When we fight the battle, the Lord, as Krishna says that many places in Bhagavad Gita and in other literatures when we read, sometimes we think that maybe ordinary devotees, do they have a chance to go back to garden? I mean, these kind of instances gives me so much of confidence and conviction that yes, because it is not just that when Krishna says that always think of me or just offer a flower or fruit or water to me, I accept it. Or when Lord Ram says that You just say that I am yours once and I will never forsake you. So these are all instances which gives us so much of confidence that during these moments, everything comes alive of whatever the promises and whatever the commitments that the Lord gives. So I'm sure, I'm at least more than convinced that she has won the battle, and she has won the battle of fighting with Maya and remembering Krishna at the time of death. And once it was asked to Srila Prabhupada that how many pure devotees are there in this world, Srila Prabhupada said, as many devotees in ISKCON are there, those many pure devotees are there. So I'm so fortunate to have come in contact with her and her family, and it's definitely a great loss for the entire family, because she had been a guide to most of the family members, and so many in her family have taken up Krishna consciousness, including my wife, just because of her. And even during her last moments, how she was actually teaching all of us that how it is, how Krishna consciousness is simple if we just stick to the basics. So thank you, Gandharvika, for teaching all of us, as it was spoken earlier, that she's definitely in a better place. And we pray that we remain always a fighter, just like how she set as an example for all of us. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Next is going to be Suchi, and Suchi is Sharad's sister, so Priya's sister-in-law.
Hey Krishna to everyone. Please let me know if you can hear me properly.
Yes, yes.
Yes, thank you. Okay. I'm truly very honored to be here. Just having the chance to have known Mataji for whatever little time that I had with her was a great honor. She was a soul whose love and compassion knew no bound. Even though I was just her son-in-law's younger sister, she never made me feel like an outsider. She always showered her unconditional love on me. And she just seemed like an anchor, someone you could look up at. Despite everything that she went through with her battle with cancer, she was always hopeful, determined, with a big, beautiful smile on her face, and a heart full of faith in Krishna. And that strength really opens your eyes, because despite all of her suffering, despite all of that pain that she felt, she never flinched in keeping Krishna in the center of everything. In the few years that I was in contact with Mataji, one of the most special memories with her was actually one of the last times I met her. And we were talking about something, and I hadn't fully shared what was in my mind, what was in my heart. And there was something like a very pressing personal matter that was heavy. And I wasn't able to fully share it. We were having a casual conversation, but somehow some instinct in her knew what was on my mind. And she gave me the most genuine and just the most reassuring advice. It was almost like she knew exactly what I needed to hear without me even saying it. She was able to shower me with that love and reassure me at the end that as long as my desires, as long as my heart is pure, Krishna will take care of everything. And in her own way, it's like she knew exactly what I needed to hear. But I'll always be grateful for that love and for the wisdom that she did share in whatever small, quiet quantity that I had. And I hope that I can carry it forward. And that with her blessings, I'm able to at least become a fraction of the kind, loving, compassionate, and brave devotee that she was. Finally, though I wish I had more time with her, more conversations, more memories, more moments, I am very grateful for everything that I have now. And I know that every single person who has met her or has ever spoken to her, she has left such a strong impact that we can see her qualities through the people around her. And this is something that I've also told her sister when we went to India, that it's not just that they look alike, but that love that they're able to shower, I can see Mataji in her. So I'm grateful to still have everyone around that I can feel Mataji's love through them. And I'm also very grateful that I can be here and listen to everyone else's experiences with Mataji and learn more about how much of a beautiful soul she was. So, yeah. Any question?
Thank you so much, Sichi, and thank you so much to all of her family who has joined us on Zoom. It just would not be the same without you. So now we're going to move on to her ISV family's offerings. So first we have Srivas Pandit Prabhu and Malini Mataji, followed by Ananda Mataji. And there are a lot of devotees that want to honor her, so we are requesting that everyone keep their offering at 3 minutes or under. And at 2 minutes, we'll ring the kartal, and at 3 minutes, we'll ring it 3 times. That way, everybody gets a chance to honor her. So thank you. Yeah, so you can just come up to the front, and we have the mics ready. So right now, it's Srivas Pandit Prabhu and Malini Mataji, followed by Ananda Mataji, and then Raseshwari Mataji.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Today I would like to reflect on Her Grace Gandharvika Radha Mataji, especially from her determination's perspective. She was an amazing cook, an amazing mother, and she was also an employee. And then she had this intense desire to read Srila Prabhupada's books. And so she joined Bhakti Shastri, and then she passed with flying colors, and then she joined Bhakti Vaibhava. In Bhakti Vaibhava, that's where things got a little hairy, because we have to write essays. And more often than not, she would be having so many other things going on in life, and she would say, Prabhu, I might be having difficulty writing essays. Then, I would encourage her, and then she would say, yes, I will do it, and she would do it. It was the most austere part of doing the Bhakti Vaibhava, but her determination just to read Prabhupada's books stood out like an inspiration, a beacon for all of us. And I was inspired seeing her that, this is an amazing devotee that takes even the so-called austere part of bhakti as something with determination, and she did it. The other part of her amazing determination was that in the first batch of Bhakti Vaibhava, we had very informal discussions going on, and we all honed in on one particular verse that quickly became our favorite, which was Maharaj Parikshit when he was about to leave this world. And then he offered this prayer to all the devotees that assembled at that point of time. And that verse is from Srimad Bhagavatam 1:19-16, which says, Punascha bhuyad bhagavatyanante rati prasangacha tadashrayeshu mahatsu yam upayami srishtim maitrastu sarvatra namo dvijebhyaha. So the translation of that verse goes something like this. Again, offering obeisances unto all the Brahmanas, I pray that if I should take my birth in this material world, I have complete attachment to the unlimited Lord Krishna, association with his devotees, and friendly relations with all living beings. And this quickly became the favorite verse of Gandharvika Mataji as well, and then she really took it to the heart. And one last point I want to make is that towards the end of the life, when she had this terrible situation that she was undergoing, she never complained. She never said, why am I the victim? And in fact, when I offered her Charnamrit, she said, thank you, this is the best medicine I got. That unflinching determination that she had in devotional service and bhakti stood out like a beacon. And, I'll pass it on to Malini, and then we can.
वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. Gandharvika Mataji was a great friend and a mentor for me. In the beginning years of my Krishna consciousness, I leaned on her so much. Though she being a senior to me, she always treated me like her younger sister. And she always encouraged me in book distribution. And she told me that, Malini, this is one service. You keep on continuing. You are situated in a best place. I wish I had a service that I can be attached to. And she said, continue your book distribution service. And she even told me that sometimes, can I join you in book distribution? So we went together to distribute Srimad Bhagavatam's door to door. And she was such a scholar, as everybody knows. She uses all gadgets to make notes. And I have seen the first time that big note thing where she writes and it automatically types into a text. And she was a great scholar, but she was so humble and encouraged me. One of my favorite things that I had with her was we used to sit in that office room and chant together. There also she used all gadgets. She had in the ear, she would put earplugs so she could hear properly. And we used to chant together. That was the best chanting I had for many, many years. And she told me that, Malini, you should record your chanting. And she used to use, again, all the gadgets to record her chanting. And then she said, go and listen to your chanting and see where you are making mistakes. And she did follow through that continuously. She also instructed me that my Guru Maharaj told me that before you chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, chant the Panchatattva mantra one whole round. She said that. And she said, my Guru Maharaj said, the only way you can enter into the holy names is only by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So you have to chant the Panchatattva mantra. And she used to do that, the one whole round of Panchatattva mantra. And throughout her life, she had great reversals. But one thing that she always had was her attitude in facing those reversals. We were reading the 7th canto together, and it was a common reading for our goal for Narasimha Chaturdasi. As you all know, all the reading goals, she was the one who used to organize the calls for Ramayana, for 7th canto and everything. So, when we were reading the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there was one section which says, Krishna's mercy is there everywhere, but why do we see that some places like stones, they don't sprout versus their fields which are sprouted with green things? And she said, and we were reading together and it says, it is because of the appreciating capacity of the person is when it sprouts. And we both looked at each other, and then that was our favorite thing. And each time we would see each other appreciating capacity, she used to remind me. And because of that appreciating capacity, I think she was able to go through the terrible times of her life with such a grace. I just wanted to share one text. This was during her time when she had terrible, terrible pain in her foot. And I often used to call her and ask her how she's doing. So this time she couldn't answer my phone call, but she sent me this text message, and she said that there is lingering burning pain. Neuropathic painkillers fail to touch the core pain. I must have created burning sensation in the hearts of the devotees through my harsh words, praying hard to be forgiven. Powerful loving prayers and blessings of devotees are my great hope for tangible relief. So this was her consciousness. She never said that, why is Krishna doing this to me? She said that I must have caused terrible pain to other devotees. So that's why I'm just Krishna is just giving what I deserve. Actually, Krishna is doing much better. And one time when she went into deep coma, where she was almost, we thought she would not come back, she came back and she told me, Malini, I felt the presence of Krishna, through that whole time. And she said that Krishna is so merciful. With all the pain, I could only think probably of the pain, but she said, I could see how Krishna is merciful. Each time what I saw from her, despite the situations, only gratitude in her heart. And I know that I'm taking longer, but there is one thing I want to mention, if it's okay. The family members who were taking care of Gandharvika Mataji, I bow down my head to all of them. Her mother is 65 years old, and her father is 80 plus. 80? How? 80. 85. And when she was going through so much of pain, she was following naturopathy things, they were serving her 24/7, literally. And not once I saw even anyone saying that, oh, this is so difficult. And they're not young. They're 65 and 85 years old. And her mom, they call her Ammaji, she said that Tata, which means her father, he said like, he has a big car. And she said that he has become an ambulance driver now. I was wondering, what is she talking about? And she says, he is ready 24/7. The moment Gandharvika Mataji used to have so much of pain, he used to immediately load her up in his big car, and he used to drive like an ambulance driver to the hospital. And I saw like he's 85 years old, but he was cleaning up the scraps of the juices that they have to do for her. And she was cooking according to her diet, almost 8 or 9 meals a day. But at the end, they were always so happy serving Gandharvika. I asked her, how were you doing this? And they said that Gandharvika is like a devata to all of us. Because every one of us who came to Krishna consciousness today is just because of her. That entire place, that Coimbatore where she lives in, they said that all the people, at least once, they used to come by and check on her because she touched their heart so much. So it's very hard to say because there is so much to say in such a little time. But I'm so grateful for her association. And I think of her very often. And remember all the friendship and love she has given me and the encouragement she has shown me. And I hope and pray that wherever she is, she's showering her blessings on me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Malini Mataji and Srivas Pandit Prabhu. Next is Ananda Mataji, followed by Raseshwari Mataji, and then Sukheshwari Mataji. If the people next in line can come near the front, that would really help.
Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. It's so hard, but I'll try. I just wrote a small offering for my dear friend Gandharvika Mataji. Dear Gandharvika Radha Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances at the dust of your lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to your dearmost Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Japataka Swami. All glories unto you. Can't imagine where to start and where to end. But I still remember the first meeting of mine with you at the storefront temple of ISV in Union Avenue on the first Sunday feast of my attendance in July 2002. So 20 years back, I met her for the first time. And immediately she, invited me to the Women's Bhakti Vriksha at her home, where we used to attend every Saturday morning with Raseshwari and few other Matajis, those who are not here, but Raseshwari still there. And I still remember those moments, what we have learned from her. So actually, Gandharvika Mataji was the pioneer of Women's Circle, and what we used to relish a lot. Every week I was looking forward to that event. So the first day when I went to your home on Saturday morning, and I raised your simple home in an ashram-style setup with beautiful altar in the living room. I was completely mesmerized by your love and devotion to Krishna and to the devotees present there. You were like the symbol of humility and devotion. We were few girls, all new to Krishna consciousness, and you were so convinced about it. By regularly attending those sessions, Gandharvika Mataji, I learned a lot from you, like each and everything what I needed for Krishna consciousness. Like chanting, reading, Kirtan, deity worship, serving devotees, and preaching and cultivating to newcomers with love and devotion. And then she started a reading call, and we used to read every day, like I was working. So during our lunch hour, every day we used to read without fail in conference calls. And I was hooked into the reading only by your blessings and mercy. You were the one who supported me during my pregnancies, and you were the first one who came to see baby Balram, now Brajras Bhavan, in the hospital and bless him. And he was your all-time favorite. So, I was able to do everything in my life because of your teachings and guidance. Your valueless association, your loving smile, your compassionate look, your amazing prasadam at the home programs, strong sadhana, deep philosophy, and your sastric knowledge, recitation of hundreds of prayers, chanting in front of the deities, Shri Radha Madan Mohan, whenever you were here in the temple. And also book distribution, everything I learned from you. I can never believe that you have left us, as you are always fresh in my memory, and as you are now with your beloved Krishna in Golok Vrindavan. ISV has lost a pillar and the most beautiful gem, whom no one can replace. Generally, it is said that great people live on this earth for a very short period of time, and definitely you are one of them. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had left this world in 48 years, in the same way you have left in the same number of years. And I still remember the last talk, last in-person talk with Mataji here in ISP. In a morning program, when I was dressing the deities after the Darshan Arti, you came to me and gave a couple of tulsi leaves with sandalwood paste on it and asked me to offer to Shri Radha Madan Mohan and to pray on your behalf to achieve jnana and vairagya, knowledge and detachment. Now I know that you have achieved that without any doubt. I can never forget your loving association and am always indebted to you for being an instrument in shaping my life into Krishna consciousness. Please forgive me all the offenses committed at your lotus feet. Your departure is a great loss, not just for ISB, but for the whole ISKCON. But you led the most successful life, as His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu told today morning's class. I know that you are so blissful at this moment with Krishna, and please forgive me for all the offenses committed at your lotus feet, and I will really miss you. I miss you every day. I remember Mataji every day, like while chanting, while reading, because that's what I have learned from her. Thank you so much for everything. Love you, miss you, Mataji, with your all the affections and with all my love and gratitude towards you, your aspiring servant, Anand Vrindavan Devi Dasi.
Thank you so much.
Next will be Raseshwari Mataji, followed by Sukeshwari Mataji, and then Aradhya and Achyuta Kumar Prabhu.
Prabhu, if you can put down. Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. My first meeting with you was an answer from Krishna. When I started to become a social recluse back in 2001, purity was the force when you invited me for the ladies' Bhakti Viksha at your home. When I reached your home in February 2002, I discovered I was the only lady who came. After the initial surprise, I realized my good fortune. I had brought my Bhagavad Gita as it is and asked you the first question: how can I implement the teachings of Bhagavad Gita in my life? While introducing me to your Jagannath deities, the pictures up there of her altar, her apartment was on Scott Boulevard in Santa Clara. You said, "Come sit down, I will teach you all." You gave me the beads and you showed me how to chant. I thought for an instant, am I in Satyuga? In those first few weeks of meeting with you, it dawned on me, you were a determined seeker of the absolute truth. You were done with this material world. You only wanted to engage in pure devotional to Radha and Krishna. I drank in all the nectar you shared. Reading from the Gita and Sri Namamrita, I felt I had been thirsty for this association for many lifetimes, and you gave me all your heart, mind, and words. You followed up with me day after day to make sure I was chanting my rounds. You drilled it in my consciousness that when we don't chant our rounds, we become an open playground for Maya's influence. I related with everything you said. For one, we were so close in age externally, and our occupation as engineers, and our distaste for this material world. The difference was you had gotten Krishna. So I ran behind you for the answer to every spiritual question, and you answered them for me patiently. In few weeks after that, around May 2002, when I was trying to find out who my spiritual master was, you encouraged me to go to New Vrindavan for the Memorial Day festival. From there, when I figured out I would go to Mumbai in December 2002, it turned out your family was going there too. We planned our adventure together to Mumbai and Pune. Then came Janmashtami that year. You inspired me in deity worship, how to do the Abhishek for your Laddu Gopal, how to put our creativity in decorating the altar. That's our can you please go to the previous slide? That has our altar picture, which she decorated with all these collections from the dollar store, and she showed me. You came to my humble apartment in Burlingame to check the makeshift altar I had made. You encouraged me always to keep me improving in all I could do, to learn the practices of Krishna consciousness. Then one day you said, you wanted to have Gauranitai deities, but ideally one should receive the Lord's deities from another servant of the Lord. I offered to you to bring you Gauranitai from my first trip to Vrindavan. I was going to be there in December 2002. And in return, you brought me my Gauranitai deities from Mayapur, where you went there at the same time that year. Later on, you got initiated from being Gita to Gandharvika Radha. And a couple years later, when my Prabhu got our Radha Krishna deities, our dear Vaisheshika Prabhu gave them the name Gandharvika Giridhari. How can I forget you? As I will always remember what an instrument you have been. You and your Prabhu packed me prasadam when I traveled for work in those early days in 2002 and 2003, so that I could keep my consciousness pure. We together learned and danced the Swami step in our first visit to LA Rath Yatra in 2002. The next picture is that of her in the sari. She's 26 years old, your age. And I'm right next to her with that cap. And behind us is Aarti, the friend who brought me to the temple. Once when a devotee walked in during our Bhakti Vriksha, that devotee was actually Shamarupa Prabhu. with sparkling cider, apple cider bottle. Both of us were so naive. We were bewildered whether it was alcohol. For we had never seen apple juice in such a packaging. We laughed our hearts out with relief when we found out it was sparkling apple juice after all. Those initial days in 2002, 2003 were the best days. We could talk about them for hours. Now you have moved on your work, as your work here was done. Your spiritual energy is invested in your daughter, Priya Kishori, and you have entrusted her to an able son-in-law. You have achieved your life's mission. You stuck to Srila Prabhupada's and your Guru Maharaj's mission as a perfect follower and changed so many lives. You will never be forgotten. You will always live in our hearts. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Next is Sukeshwari Mataji, followed by Aradhya and Achyuta Kumar Prabhu, and then Kuladvi Prabhu.
I just don't want to do this. I knew Gandharvika Mataji's sister from Pune. So when I moved to US, she gave me her number, and it was in 2001. I was in Virginia. I was expecting Shastra. And so I called her. And she was so friendly, and I really loved her. I didn't have any association. She was my association on the phone at that point of time. And then I luckily moved in 2003 here. And the first time I went to her house was Shastra in a small... the crib, I forget the name, the car seat. And then Priya and Shastra played with each other. And I just felt that, after I left Gopinath temple, I have another person that I can connect with. She was so welcoming. She would spend so much time. And luckily, we moved into the same apartment complex. And Lalita Mataji used to take care of Shastra and Priya when myself and Mataji would go to work. And she's almost 1.5 years younger than me. So I just can't believe I'm sitting here and doing a memorial for her. Like Malini was mentioning, she would always tell me, one day we would chant together and she'll tell me, I'd say, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. She said, Mataji, you should start recording your chanting. Well, nobody had ever told me about that before. So I recorded my chanting and I thought, I was actually not chanting 16 rounds. I was probably chanting 8 because half my mantra was eaten up. So she would actually, help me in that way. Remind me, we would read together. And as Raseshwari just mentioned, the first thing was to her Bhakti Vriksha. And it was, I realized one thing that she was so, when Maharaj was talking about it today, IAA. So I hope I will never forget that. Intention, attention, and action. So her intention was in the right place, always to focus on Krishna consciousness. She never withered from that. Her attention to the details of what she read, how she did chat, she always sat here. And that was her spot. And she would do, she would make Maharaj the juice to the detail of exact amount of whatever she has to put. And the idlis that I make is because of her. The perfect recipe. And her actions always showed that she was always very laulyam. She had so much. She always had, I think Maharaj probably remembers, the most, anybody who has the question about when will I purify? How long will it take? I think she is the person who asks that over and over and over again. And then I feel that the thing, it was so inspiring that Krishna really wanted, okay, there you go, we have a pure soul, I need her to do something else. I was in touch with Mataji regularly, well, through texts. And, as many of you know, I will just really finish it in 30 seconds. So, Mataji, I always tried to take maha of everybody. So she gave me one of her chunnis, black chunni. I still have it. And in Bhagavatam, one day in the morning, we read that if you take away something from someone, that's not right without that person knowing. It was the story of Nriga. I can't remember what Prabhupada says in the purport. So immediately texted Mataji, I need you to know, I have the chunni that you gave me. I didn't give it back to you because I wanted it as maha. But her response was, Dandavats Diya Mataji. Thanks for the powerful prayers. Pain is a bit better, praying for pain-free healing. Surely will let you know for, sorry, I actually have to read the other one. She said, Dandavats, you should take maha from devotees, not offenders. It's my fortune to be of some service to you, not that you have mercifully taken this. Please bless me with Vaishnava Seva and Nam Seva. Now this is a time when her whole body was literally eaten away. She was in so much pain. And still she's asking for Vaishnava Seva and Nam Seva. Thank you, Mataji, for all your inspiration. Hopefully someday we will be able to do what you did. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Sukeshwari Mataji. Next will be Aradhya and Achyuta Kumar Prabhu, followed by Kuladvi Prabhu, and then Hansapriya Mataji and Radharala Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, dear Gandharvika Radha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. I miss you so much. Ever since you have left us, my whole life has changed. I remember how every Sunday you would make red juice and give it to Vaisheshika Maharaj and Narikala Mataji. If there was any leftover juice, you would call me and my friends, grab cups and pour fresh red juice in our cups. I miss those times. I also remember when I used to come to your house for a sleepover or just to hang out for some time. You would take me to the park, we would get my favorite ice cream, you would make my favorite foods, give me jewelry, join me in pranking Priya, and so much more. Every time I would call you or meet you, you would ask, Aradhya, I forgot the shloka, can you please recite it and help me remember it? And I would joyfully recite it. When you went to India for treatment, I would call you casually, not knowing what was going with your health. The day came, my mom broke the news to me, but I responded, Amma, don't joke about such things. But when I figured out this was no joke, I cried my heart out. Dear Gandharvika Radha Mataji, thank you for being a huge part in my life, and I still cry about your passing. I will always cherish our memories. I love you so much and miss you, Mataji. I pray to Radha Madan Mohan that wherever you are, Mataji, you are in the service of the Lordships. Your humble servant, Aradhya.
Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Dear Gandharvika Radha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Once I went to a business trip to Coimbatore, and that is Mataji's and Prabhuji's hometown. So I went to their home, fortunately, and I observed that everybody was their consciousness is because of Her Grace Gandharvika Mataji. And she is actually a hero in many lives, many people's lives. So Mataji's mother and father glorified her a lot, and they came to Krishna consciousness because of her. And then I went to the temple president, His Holiness Bhakti Vinod Maharaj, and he said, I did Dandavats and he embraced me, and he called somebody and said, this person came from Gandharvika Radha Mataji, please give him a Rajbhoga Mahaprasad. So that was, And Maharaj spent some time explaining how Priya used to run around in the temple, and he was recollecting how all these people have grown in Krishna consciousness. And so in the temple, many people also asked about Mataji. And we also went to another local Venkateshwara temple, and many people know them. And their house is next to walking distance from that temple. And the whole house and everything is vibrant with Krishna consciousness. So Mataji has touched the hearts of several people. And she's very thorough in the tattva. Like if you go to their home and see the book collection, that will tell what Mataji was reading. And her profile picture was always Nityananda Prabhu. She knows the tattva very, very deeply. She's a Bhakti Vaibhava, not only as a student, but in practice. Mataji is definitely no less than a pure devotee. She's definitely in Goloka Vrindavana, in the eternal pastimes of the divine couple. So when Mataji is going through this, we also came to know about that in the initial days. And then I asked Mataji, why don't we tell in the temple and ask for blessings? So Mataji said, I want devotees to think about Krishna in happiness than worrying about me. And she wants to keep that as a confidential thing. And then as the health is deteriorating, Mataji is getting emaciated, and then she used to call Aradhya to talk. And then me, Divya Kumari, and Aradhya used to have video calls. And Mataji used to tell what she's going through. Sometimes she told that her energy levels was so low that he has to choose, on a Nityananda Trayodasi, she has to do Abhishek only for Nityananda Prabhu, not Gauranga Prabhu. So, and then Mataji was telling in a very emotional way that she couldn't do more, even in that condition. And choosing between like whom to do the Abhishek, Mataji is telling, I wish I have more energy to do more seva. And as things deteriorated, once she had a reaction, and then her whole body got swollen like almost 3 to 4 times. And when Mataji was walking, the skin used to tear up, and then the water used to come out. And it was like very, very excruciating pain that Mataji has gone through. But one thing, Mataji, whenever we, how are you, Mataji? She told very grateful, very thankful. She never complained actually, why this is happening to me, or why I have to go through these things. So she's always optimistic, and she used every bit of her energy. As today morning we were hearing His Holiness Swayam Bhagavan Keshav Maharaj was saying, as Prabhupada utilized his full extent, and he went to sleep in the lap of his disciple. So like that, Mataji was utilizing every bit of her energy in loving devotional service. And we always used to go and ask blessings. And when Aradhya is born, we went to Mataji, and she's senior devotee. We asked blessings. Mataji, we want her, please bless her so that she can become like Priya Kishori and walk in the footsteps of Priya Kishori. So Mataji nicely prayed, and she used to have special attention on Aradhya. And each time, whenever she gets the jewelry Maha from Radharani, whatever Mataji got, and then Priya Kishori used that, she gave as Maha to Aradhya. So that way, we are very fortunate. Mataji touched many, many souls. I'm pretty sure that Mataji is in the eternal world, Goloka Vrindavan, and with the divine couple. I beg and pray that Mataji please petition to the divine couple, to our previous acharyas, so that we can come and join you and serve you eternally, and all the devotees and all the Vaishnavas along with you. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Next will be Hansapriya Mataji and Radhavalla Prabhu, followed by Lalitangi Mataji. And just a reminder for the kartals is the first kartal means that you did 2 minutes, so 1 minute left, and then the second one means you're at 3 minutes. Thank you.
Together 3 or 3?
3 total.
3 total, okay, thank you. But all of the intimate friends, they didn't follow. I'm very fortunate to be part of this memorial service. When I came out of ashram, I was thinking I will not give any lectures anymore. I'll just do this yogi plate stuff, thing like that. Through cooking, I'll just start distributing prasadam. But Gandharvika Mataji would call me and ask me, would you like to give class? And it was beyond my capacities to say no. Because our approach is so pure, so inspiring, I never could say no to him, to her. So then my interaction was very brief through phone calls, and because it happened very quickly after I came here. So 2023, I think Kartik, after Kartik, we decided to go to visit her in India. And she was just recovering actually. She was getting better from what she was earlier. And we had a very nice get-together conversation. I took some rest also because we were flying from different places. And it was such a sweet reunion, and we hoped that she is going to come back to full, services. It didn't happen later. So very much I'm going to miss, and I see a lot of her, qualities in Priya Kishori, and I think she is living through her. Hare Krishna.
If I wanted to say one sentence for Gandharvika, is that she made me realize Prabhupada's statement is a simple living and high thinking. So Gandharvika, I always try to wonder what Prabhupada meant by simple living and high standard, high living. And actually, over years, spending time with Gandharvika and her profound questions made me realize that, it could be what she is deepening her faith in Srila Prabhupada's teachings and finding the profound purpose of the life, how to surrender. So Gandharvika has, over the years, I know her since 1999 or 2000, something like that, when Priya wasn't even in US, and Appa and Amma, where I call them, they moved here. And Gandharvika, she kind of acted mature from very beginning. And I was different. I was a little passionate and, create more smoke than fire, in the service. So Gandharvika always helped me like a big sister. And I said, I will do the services at the temple, but the new girls are coming. You probably help them to shape up, and then it gets easier for me to interact. Because a lot of devotees in the ISV community at that time were very young and newly married and just coming in. And Gandharvika was definitely one of the mature sisters, and then she will apparently help us, and then we'll come together and do the services. One thing she has taught me personally is to take a shelter of the prayers. When going through the hard time, how she was guiding me, that Hansapriya, take names of Nityanandas, you will get this benefit. Let's memorize the Narsingha Kavacha together. And then we'll sit in front of the deities and we will memorize the Radha Kripa Kataksh and Nityananda Astakam and names of Nityananda and Nrsimha Kavacha. When I was going through some turbulences in my life, she stood by me, and as a mature person, she helped me, and she said, let's write a prayer and put it under Radharani's lotus feet, and that would help you. So not just that you practiced what you listened and you heard in the lectures, but you also taught how to deepen our faith. And that's something I'm going to miss very much. And every time after Abhishek happens, I think of her. Because that was one of the services that quietly she would do in the back room, is the washing the paraphernalia. So you are going to be staying alive in every Abhishek that will take place at ISV. And you are going to be there with us in the having a Priya Kishori, and you have doubled it up with a Sharad as well. So I can't thank you enough for being the part of my life, but I still don't like that you left me alone and you have gone. But I pray that you are always a mature, and you also still continue to guide me one way or other, so I can also follow your footstep in the service to Guru and Gauranga. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. So the order changed a little bit. Next will be Kuladvip Prabhu, followed by Radhika Prema Mataji, then Lalitanki Mataji, and then Sudeep Prabhu.
Bancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya vacha patitanang pavanebhya vaishnavebhya namo namaha. 12 years back, when I came to ISV, it was a different experience for me because ISV is very much into Shastra. And two persons, always I used to see them sitting in front of the class, was Gandharvika Radha Mataji and Shraddha Mataji. And when especially Vaisheshika Maharaj would give class, that class will be a little bit overbearing for me because I was not habituated with that kind of long conversation, which is very philosophical. And also that, deep subject matters from the Shastra without touching the pastimes that much. And then Mataji would ask a question which will be more deeper. I would be completely lost, how somebody can think that deep out of that deep conversation, which is very difficult to jolt out for me. But as the time went by, I noticed that actually these questions are coming from genuinely from her heart. She was literally meaning what she was asking. And I was noting down, you would see that, many of my notes, like previously when I used to do regular notes, would actually refer that Gandharvika Mataji asked this question and this was the answer. So I'm really grateful to Mataji to teach me how to listen in the class, how to be attentive, how to actually ask pertinent question, because it's not like, you just sit and you start asking question. It needs lot of deep contemplation, sadhana, to ask questions which are beneficial for yourself and for others. Personally, Mataji, she actually always considered me as a younger brother and corrected me a few times, especially my Vaishnava behavior. I used to do Srila Prabhupada's Guru Puja on Saturdays. One time I was actually wearing a black chadar, and I was wearing that. Mataji immediately came to me, and she got a chadar of Ramananda Sakha Prabhu and gave it to me and said, Kuladip, please take out that chadar. Why you are wearing that? In front of Vaisheshika Prabhu, you are wearing that black chadar. It's not proper. Then I immediately took it out and I rectified myself. One time I was blowing the conch shell. She came to me, Kuladip, you do very nicely, chamara, showing to the Lord. But why you blow conch shell like that? You should actually hold the conch shell like in this manner. And from that day onward, I never actually hold the conch shell in a different way because she taught me. And she would sometimes share some personal issues. I would say, why my Mataji is sharing this thing to me? Because I would have a awe and reverence mother or elder sisterly relationship with her. But she would share something which I never expected, that why she is sharing something so personal, family issue to me. So then later I realized that she always considered me as a very close family member. Yeah, so I would end up with one thing which actually helped me establishing relationship with my Shiksha Guru and my Diksha Guru both. I would actually read few people's offering during Vaisheshika Maharaja's Vyasa Puja very diligently, and Gandharvika Mataji would be one of them. Because I could feel that what she's speaking, she's meaning it, and she had that kind of deep relationship where she could speak in that manner. And same thing would happen when we had a Vyasa Puja offering in our Guru Maharaja disciple circle. Last time when she spoke in 2022, I think that was the last Sangha we had with her in her presence in Zoom call. She mentioned one thing that, I am going through so much pain, or everybody is going through. She didn't mention herself, she's going through so much pain. She mentioned that everybody is going through so much pain and we are bound to experience that in this material world. But when I see you, Guru Maharaj, your face, a smiling face, every day in the morning, I'm oblivious to my pains. I feel like, what kind of relationship she had with Guru Maharaj, that by seeing Guru Maharaj, she gets so much inspiration, so much energy. So I'm really grateful that she could give me the glance of relationship one should have with their Shiksha Guru, their Diksha Guru, and permeate that in my heart. Again, I will just end with one point. One day Mataji in 2020, I think late 2019, she would not give class herself. She would inspire other people to give class. But one day she was giving class and she asked me, Kolodeep, what should I speak about? I asked, Mataji, you are such a brilliant listener. So speak about listening, Srimad Bhagavatam. And then she said, no, I am thinking of speaking about glories of holy name. Please tell me something about glories of holy name. Then I spoke something from Chaitanya Bhagavat where Mahaprabhu was glorifying her mother, Sachi Devi. And then after speaking about that, when I left the temple, I thought, no, I should have actually spoken something related to Bhagavatam because she would be giving class on Bhagavatam. And I remembered the verse, Mriyamano Harinamo Grinam Putru Upasharitam, that Ajamila pastime verse. And when Mataji came to give class on Saturday morning, she started speaking on that verse. And I was so delighted that, I don't know whether Mataji listened my heart, but I was very happy. So I'm grateful that she always considered me. She shared something which was very beneficial for me and considered me someone who can be corrected. And I'm missing that. I hope that, some of the devotees, they feel like, I need that kind of correction in my life and be personal and be corrective to me. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Next is Radhika Prema Mataji, then Lalitangi Mataji, Sudeep Prabhu, and Shamarupa Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, everybody. We have been family since 2007. I mean, that's a family over here for me, for sure. The first person I saw in Pascon Temple was Gandharvika Mataji. When we just got married in May, when I came here, she was there. I still remember the place, the sari, she was wearing a light yellow color sari she was wearing. She was standing near the corridor, just a passage next to the restroom where we keep water bottles. We used to keep water jugs. She used to stand there. She stood there. She welcomed me. She told us, come to the Bhakti Vrikshas. We have Bhakti Vrikshas. She told Prabhuji. Prabhuji used to come before that. And then we just started going. And then it was so easy to connect with her. And actually, I think my name also played a good advantages. I got that affection immediately because I was Pooja then. So her daughter is also Pooja. So that affection, that link was just instantaneously. And within a year, we were going to do a drama, but we were there at her house in Scott so many times for classes, for cooking in Berkeley Temple with Sanatan Prabhu, for his Bhakti Vrikshas. And she was the first for everybody, everything. She
not just Krishna consciousness, in the sense she was the first who took me for book distribution. She was the first who gave us the deities of Gaurnitai deities. They were on the Kartik Purnima day. They called me home. We had a program there, and they handed over the deities to me. Those were the deities she had got from Vrindavan. And they are the most beautiful deities in this planet. And I remember her every day because when I see her. Then she was the first who also taught me how to chant. Like Malini Mataji mentioned, the best chanting that would happen was in the book room. We used to sit in this corner and we used to chant with her. So it would be either sometimes Malini Mataji would join, or it would be me and Gandharvika Mataji. And those times were something really I haven't had been able to experience that. Once I remember we went to, but I need some time. Once I remember we went on a trip. It was a road trip, and we were sitting in the car. It was late at night. There was some police issue with the car, whatever. We didn't know. I and Gandharvika were sitting, and Gandharvika said, let's chant Radhika. I said, okay, puja. At that time, she used to call me Puje. So we both started chanting. And after we finished the chant, the first word she said was, it was powerful. I said, yes, Mataji, it was wonderful. And that feeling has never gone. I can still view and visualize myself sitting in that car on those two seats, doing the chant, and that vibration and the feeling after that, it will never leave me. You know, she used to wear, in those days, she used to have rubber bands in her hands. Those were all different colors. Sometimes she would have 21 or 12 rubber bands, thin ones. She would have colored rubber bands. And I used to ask her, what are these? So she would like, today I have decided that this week I am going to be calmer. I'm not going to shout at somebody. So I'm wearing that. Or there will be some words that she has to recite so many times. So she will wear a number of rubber bands in her hands so that she can remember. And that was the first time I had seen somebody working on themselves. Because we don't see that. And she actually did that. She was working on herself. That was an eye-opener for me, that, oh my God, yeah, we have to do something like that. Even chanting, she used to tell me, Pooja, when you're chanting, right, Radhika, you have to, in between both the rounds, try to insert one Tulsi, or try to insert Nityananda Rama, try to insert Radhe, something inside between the two mantras, and then you will see your focus increases. And I tried that. It was very, very difficult. But it works. It works. It genuinely works. I mean, she had tricks. And like Malini Mataji said, the use of technology, amazing. She would spend so much money buying things. I was like, one day she had this big tablet. I was like, Mataji, why? Because she was the only earner at that time, and the things were not very good in terms of money in her house. So she said, why are you spending? No, look. I will write like this, it will write. So when I'm taking notes, I don't have to worry. So I'm like, okay, Mataji. And the best thing, you go to her house, 24/7, there'll be a lecture going on. There will be a lecture. Even they sleep with a lecture on. There will be a lecture going on. Even if she's in the meetings, there will be lecture. She'll be always telling me, no, Radhika, you have to keep the vibration going on. There is no way you can escape that. Lecture is always there, and if nobody's listening, it doesn't matter. Govind Maharaj is talking, somebody is talking, some lecture is going on. Just in between, when you're walking around, you will hear something, right? That is enough. But the vibration has to go on. And even last year, I couldn't go to meet her. I don't know why. We had so many difficulties going and meeting her. It was not possible. Last year, I wanted to do Bhagavatam reading, and I called her. I said, Mataji, can we do Bhagavatam? She said, yes, we can do Bhagavatam. And I didn't ask her how she was doing, because I was getting updates from Sanatan Prabhu, and I didn't want to, ask her and make her feel bad or anything. So she said, we'll start reading. I said, okay. So where do we start? She said, we'll start from preface. I said, okay. Preface, we have a long way we can go. Believe me, the first page of preface took us 4 days. Because after every second line, she was like, so Radhika, what do you think Prabhupada is thinking over here? And I'm like, oh, Prabhupada is thinking over here. So even that was like, every 2 lines, she had something to talk about Prabhupada. So she was so dear to, Prabhupada's instructions were so dear to her. And then I realized, oh my God, Gandharvika Mataji was at a level, but now she has gone to a completely different level. She's using her time, she knows what she has left. And she was using every second of it just to go back to Krishna. And I think she did that. She did beautifully. though we all remember her, I'm going to remember, she wouldn't waste the tilak. After applying tilak, she will lick her hands or fingers. Then I said, Mataji, what are you doing? No wasting tilak. It's Rajabhumi's dash, so no wasting tilak. Yeah, she would eat it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. but from that, so every time I apply tilak, I try to put very little so that I can put it and then I don't waste. And then I apply it on my body. But I don't waste it. But that is something, that what I'm trying to say is, there are so many things that reminds me of her every day. And I'm so happy, that I can remember her like this. And her blessing is always going to be there with me, I know. She loves me eternally. I have loved her eternally. We have just connected so much. And I just know that she has lived the perfect way. I just pray that everybody, one regret is that she could have taken a better care of herself. And I pray to all of you, just take a better care of your health. We really need each and every one of us over here to live a little longer and better. So that is my earnest prayer. And I won't miss. She's there with me all the time. So I'm very happy that wherever she is, she's in the best positions. I know that. She couldn't have lived a better life than this, and she is a true example for us. So Hare Krishna.
So she's covered a lot. I don't have much memories from spiritual point of view because our interactions were mainly material. Because we were very close at that time, we didn't have children. We used to spend a lot of time with her family. And she was working in job, and she was always like, okay, I want to leave my job and focus on spirituality. But Sundar Babu didn't have a steady, source of things. So we will always try to figure out what we can do. So we spend a lot of time trying to start a hotel or this and that. So then she used to share a lot of things on that point. But one thing I know is she was very stubborn and determined. She wanted to do something, she will do. She gave us the Gaur Nitai DTs to our house. So one peculiar pastime I remember is once we were doing, when we were for the Chappan Bhog at Jagannatha Theatre at Ananda Mataji's house. So there was a date in my plate, and she wanted that date piece. And Radhika said, oh, no, we cannot, because we were from a South Indian family, we follow all these acharas. She said, no, you are already eaten, we cannot give from your plate to her. So she said, you eat it. So I ate it and put the seed there. And she took that seed from my plate and ate it, actually. And I was like, I could have given the date. So she had her own way of things, but as she said, as everybody knows, she was very, very determined in her sadhana, in her reading, chanting, and she always used to encourage us to do that. We started the first drama of ISV at her house in Scott Boulevard. Myself, Narahari Prabhu, we had a few more devotees who were there, and we had we should do, and that first drama was Ramayana, right? Yeah. The first Ramayana drama was done at her house, and then after that, the Narasimha Chaturdashi drama. So we spent a lot of time with their family, and we had not always a good fortune, but we were there when she passed. We could attend her funeral, myself and Radhika. We were in Kerala at that time, so we could drive to Coimbatore from that place, at least represent some, we had some ISV representation there. So we are very grateful to her for being part of our family. I might not remember as much as she does because I have a very short memory, but we are always very grateful to the family for being the pillar. Sort of when we came to ISV, we had only two families. We knew one is Balimadan Prabhu family and Gandharvika Mataji family. So we are both grateful to both of them for being a source of inspiration, a source of, a pillar, backbone for us. So we're thankful. We're really grateful to them, and we pray that we can achieve at least 1% of our determination so that we can progress in our Krishna consciousness. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Next will be Lalitangi Mataji, followed by Sudeep Prabhu, and then Shyamarupa Prabhu.
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. Do you like to speak? So every time when I came to ISV, Gandharvika would invite me with smiles. But this time also she was smiling. My dear friend has become a picture for me. So this smile was what attracted me in 11th grade, 1991 1, I think. So she came from another school, and it was just a month, and we both were friends. Immediately, she connected with me more than I went. And then ISKCON conducted a Bhagavad Gita class for high school kids, 7-day course. She wanted very much to come, but somehow she had another engagement in the evening. So I went, and every day after I come to school, we were, in a bench of 4, 5, 6 girls. It was a girls' school. So there was a girl sitting near me, and then she was in the next bench. But she had so much interest to ask me, what did you learn in the class yesterday? And this girl was sitting near me, wouldn't move. So she would lean over like this. I remember her leaning over, and then, I'm just hearing these classes for the first time also. I honestly don't know what I told, but that was enough for her to take up Krishna consciousness seriously. So even a immature presentation of a totally neophyte was enough to start her on a journey. And then I would visit her home, and the first thing that invited was like sacks of gunny bags of onion and garlic. And her mom would say that, we are from a family, my brothers run the meat shops in the city. So if you are going to make her vegetarian, it's going to be hard for us. So that was the situation. And from then, we would regularly go to the temple and hear the classes, and she would ask questions with Bhakti Vinod Maharaj. And after school, we went into different colleges. And the college she went to was in the south of Tamil Nadu, a belt known for aggressive conversions. So she ended up with a roommate who was a recently converted enthusiastic Christian. So you can imagine what it would be. So she would write bunches and bunches of letters, inland letters in the blue color thing. There was no cell phone, no even phone for her because she was in the hostel. But she was chanting 16 rounds, continuously, keeping it up and then sharing what she felt. Probably she had only the Bhagavad Gita to read with no ISKCON temples, no congregation at that time. But 4 years of continuous 16 rounds at that age with no association, with just reading of Bhagavad Gita, that shows, what she is. And she got married, and then Priya Kishori was born. And the family was in such a state. They were depending on her salary, but I remember the first salary that she got, the whole bunch of Indian rupee notes, she came and gave it to me in the hand, telling, you go give it in the temple, first offering. And then so many like that from here she would send, and there is no counting of how much she has done. And so in the first few years, Priya Kishori was there with her grandmother, and as a mother's heart, she would really miss her daughter and call and ask me to make sure that, go and keep them, tell them some stories. But when I come to the temple, Priya Kishori, who was just like 1.5, 2.5, would be reciting all Guru Ashtakam, Narsimharati, and everything, and there will be a lot of people, curious people surrounded around her. That's the picture. And I would ask her grandmother, did you teach her? She would say, none of this entered into my mouth. So I just put on the thing, and she listened, and she got it herself. And those were times of calling cards. So she would, half an hour of calling card was $5 or something, and she would call, and we would talk from 99 to 2003. One thing is I don't remember her talking any gossip about any devotee in any way. Always it was about how I can improve my Krishna consciousness and how nice ISV is. And so many different devotees, I knew of them even before I came here. So many names and what she's doing in Krishna consciousness and what's happening in Coimbatore. What is the recent lecture you heard? It was always like she lived up to that, Bodhayantaha Parasparam. So 2003 we got married, and of all the places, my Prabhu got a project here, San Jose. So those 2 years were very, very precious. Coming to Bascom Avenue, we were there, and the first time I heard His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu Janmashtami lecture in 2004. I don't remember what you spoke, but it made such an impression in my heart that I'm deeply grateful for that. So we had so much to talk, myself, Rasheshwari, and Gandharvika. So Hansapriya would say that you are in the same community. So she found the home, and we were in the same community, and we could chant together, do laundry together in the common laundry. Those were very, very precious times. And then when we are sitting here, we would always sit nearby, and prasadam time we would talk, and Hansapriya would ask, you had so much time at home, you are in the same place, and still you're coming here and talking. It never seemed enough. So then, we had to move. Unfortunately, we still regret that decision of having to move from ISV. Otherwise, I would have surely been a devotee with all your association here. So then, with the Sadhu Sangha in Boone, and we were in Charlotte, so that was a landing place, and we had again opportunity to connect with all the devotees, and especially it was a very dear thing to my heart to see her and the family and spend time together. And then this disease came, and how she was feeling about it from the beginning. From the beginning, it's what I deserve. This is what I deserve even more. And in the last year when I went, she was in the hospital. I got to spend a day with her. And that time, she showed me the X-ray. There's a visible crack in the bones, and we can imagine what pain it would have caused. And I was helping her, going to the bathroom, and we were sitting. And at that time, she spoke something that's wonderful. It was not a Bhagavatam class. There's no much. It was only me and her. And she said, with honesty in her heart, that you might wonder that, why I'm going through all this. But I would tell you one thing, I deserve much, much more than this. For all my offenses I have done, I deserve much, much more than that. And Krishna is very, very merciful. So in that pain, if someone could say that, then I found the practical living example of yata tatava vidata tu lampato mat prananatastu sayevana paraha. And so today, some friendships are for few years, some friendship is for a lifetime, some are for few lifetimes, but some are for eternity, if Krishna allows that. So my prayer today to the Lord and all the Vaishnavas here is, first of all, I ask forgiveness as friends. Definitely I've taken her granted for maybe many times. And maybe I should have given her more heart, more empathy, more time, more kindness and more words. So this debt is there, and I pray to the Lord that if he so desires, I can serve him with devotees like her, with her, and so I can fulfill this debt. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Before Chittappa goes, I just had one gift. This is the letter you wrote, Amma. That's the letter that she wrote to Amma in 2000, and I just wanted to give it to you. And it's all the original handwriting in the paper. I found it in the garage.
You want me to read? I don't want to take much time, but I had written one such letter, but she had written bunches and bunches of like this. At least a month, at least I would get 4, 5, 6 of them in a month, like this. And every line is ending with my name. So much to say and so much love. Maybe some of that is, I could read 1 or 2. I'm extremely sorry for being oblivious to your correspondence. Speaking over phone is like giving a drop of water to quench days of thirst. A lot of things to speak. I'm very, very glad to see your Prabhu joining in there. It is due to your selfless devotion and his pure, sincere qualities that Sri Jagannath has bestowed blessings on your family. He came all of a sudden from somewhere to join you there. He is simply attracted by your devotion. This is in November 1st, 2000. So she must have written at least a 10-page letter to me. A lot of things to write and say. My eyes are filled with tears and pride, tears of pride and separation when I think of you, my dear Geeta. You have given birth to a wonderful devotee. Now you just have to train her properly and make her lead lot of souls back to Godhead. As long as she is here, I will take care. Don't worry. I am also praying 2 years should fly off and you should meet her and me too very soon.
Vanchakalpatarubhishte krupasandobhyavata patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo. There are a lot of things to say about Mataji. I just written a small. I first met Mataji in 2003 when we moved here, and that was even before our move. I came for work to San Jose, and I only knew her as her friend, and I've never met her and spoken to her. And when I came there, Mataji insisted to stay in her home. And that was actually, I stayed there, and that was my first direct contact to be in a Krishna conscious home, because our marriage is the only introduction for Krishna consciousness. Before that, I was not. And Mataji also helped her to rent an apartment in the same complex. And then I went back and got married and came. And then we continued there. Throughout those 2 years, she has helped tremendously in many things, because I see how a Krishna conscious life is to be led. She's taken us to temples, so many programs. And so my introduction to Krishna consciousness was enabled by Mataji. And she also helped me to set up entire Prabhupada books in my mobile so that I could hear, because I used to travel a lot. So she introduced me to hearing and inspired me to see what is Krishna consciousness. And after that, we moved to Charlotte in 2013. And Mataji used to come every year to Sadhu Sangha and stay for a few days and give us a lot of guidance. And in 2017, I think Mataji and Priya Kishori came and they stayed for couple of weeks, 3 weeks or so. And after Sadhu Sangha, we went to Atlanta for Panihati Festival and Rath Yatra, where our Guru Maharaj every year comes, and Jai Pataka Maharaj, and then we went there. And when we were there, we came to know that Maharaj was giving initiations there the next day. And then Mataji actually went and spoke to Maharaj Secretary Mahavara Prabhu and asked him if he can give initiation to me. Actually, I was chanting 16 rounds, but I didn't have an intention to take initiation that year. And then Maharaj told that, Mahavara Prabhu told that if you can arrange everything,
by today you can get initiation tomorrow, like the recommendation letter and the interview and all of them. Then we ran around the whole day and did the interview, and did all of them, and next day I got initiated. So Mataji actually helped me to connect to the Guru Parampara, even though I was not so keen, I was waiting. And there are so many interactions with Mataji. Every time when we speak during her illness, I met her in Coimbatore. She was always determined. She was always inspiring others without considering what she is going through. And her determination and faith, I mean, is unshakable. And we all know that Mataji has perfected her life, and praying that she gives her blessings so that helps me to progress in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji and Prabhuji. Next is going to be Sharad Vihari Mukunda, followed by Priya Kishori. And then, okay, all three are going to go together, so it's going to be Priya, Sharad, and Sanatan Sundaram Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. When I think about Amma, Gandharvika Radha, my wife's mom, my wife's mom, an amazing devotee, and so many more, but one thing I could never think of her was a mother-in-law. She never felt like a mother-in-law, always felt like a guru, a mother, even a friend at times. I'm reminded of the first real connection we had back in 2019 during LA Ratha Yatra trip. Priya and her family were just getting to know me then, and Amma organized, I used to call her Amma because I could never call her anything else. She organized a trip for us to visit Griffith Observatory, and I've never visited this place, and I was just super excited. But the real memorable experience I had was the conversation we had. She pulled me aside and asked me the most genuine, deeply spiritual questions about my life and intentions, all through the lens of Krishna consciousness. What struck me was how thoughtful she was, how she didn't judge my responses, and how it felt like I was speaking to more than just Priya's mother. I was talking to a friend, a guide, and a guru all at once. Amma wasn't just deeply spiritual, she was incredibly smart. And I've heard from Radhika Prema Mataji say how she would buy the most latest and greatest gadgets with if she had an Apple Pencil today and Apple Pencil came out next week, the second version, she would buy it just because it would make her write better and that would make her put the notes in perfectly. She just didn't study Krishna consciousness, she lived it. She had this remarkable ability to apply spiritual teachings in practical ways, and she always encouraged the people around her to do the same. She believed in making every moment count, always serving Guru and Krishna, and with everything she did, she constantly spoke about Srila Prabhupada, her own Guru, and the glories of Gauranga and Nityananda Prabhu. In many ways, it always felt like Amma didn't belong to this material world. She was already so elevated, so deeply spiritual, that her true home was a spiritual world. I feel blessed to have the time with her. One thing Amma loved to make was juices. And she passed that love on to me. She encouraged me to even start my own juice business when I was living in Mexico. And it turned out to be quite successful. To this day, every time I make juices, and I make them quite regularly, I think of her. It's a small connection, but it's one that I hold on to tightly. One of the greatest lessons Amma taught me was the difference between service and serving. She always reminded me to focus on the act of serving without getting caught up in the pride over the service itself. She'd say, "So what if someone else wants to take your service? There's plenty to do. Go find something else." That's why you might see me doing all kinds of things at the temple, whether it's cooking in the temple, helping in the book room, or even sweeping the temple floor. It was Amma who taught me to embrace the mood of serving, and I will always be grateful to her for that. As I look back on everything she's given me, one of the most important lessons was to each their own. Amma always encouraged me to find my own path, but to build that path on the principles of Krishna consciousness. She always said, keep your sadhana strong and Krishna will recognize your unique journey. Garunatai will always take care, she used to remind me, and I hold these words very close to me. It's upsetting to me every day to realize that she's left the world. There's an undeniable sadness in not having her physically here, but I'm comforted knowing that her guidance, her instructions, and her love are with me, my wife. I mean her daughter. Her legacy isn't just the memories, it's the wisdom she shared, and I know I'll carry that with me always. Thank you, Amma, for everything.
I had a lot written out, but I just want to read a part of it. So, one thing I noticed towards the end of her life was the determination that she had for the holy name and how it never left her. And this is one of the views I got into her inner world. So I'll just share this last part here. You know that friend who will just never leave you? That friend who knows everything about you, the good, bad, and ugly, and they will never leave you, even if you tried? I saw how my mom and the holy name built this bond and relationship. They were glued together. She would beg for a taste, read every book on chanting, yearn to go to Japa circle, and calculate her day effectively so she could simply chant in the morning, especially Brahma Muhurta. That was the goal of her life, and it is the only thing she ever asked of me. Please build a relationship with the holy name and just chant. Krishna will take care of everything. It is the highest service, and the holy name will take care of everything. As her daughter, I feel slightly entitled to this taste. I mean, come on, I have her cheekbones, her skin, some of her mental and emotional qualities. Why can't I just inherit this taste too? After her passing, I realized it is not so easy. She paid for this relationship. She earned it by dedicating every moment of every day, ensuring that her mind would not be distracted. And just like a faithful friend never leaves you, I saw that the faithful friend of the holy name never left her till the end. The last day, she viscerally gathered all her spiritual energy, and even though her mind was almost in a coma, she struggled with breathing, and every 5 breaths she would struggle and say, Krishna, then go back to sleep. How? Everybody in the room was wondering. Then I realized and remembered what she told me. Krishna is more than 1,000,000 mothers. He just wants the best out of us. And even when we cannot give, he provides. All those baked samskaras, vasanas, and karmas left her heart, and one crown jewel remained, her best friend, the holy name. She lived up to her testament, always trust Krishna. I am still at the level of thinking, what kind of a friend and loving person is Krishna, who would drag his devotee through painful dirt like this? But Amma, I'm still learning, and one day I hope to build the same type of genuine gratitude and taste you have for the holy name. The last thing Amma wanted was to die in a hospital hooked up to poles and machines. But sometimes humility means that one has to be humiliated, and Krishna took the essence of her heart, and even though she didn't want that, he still took her in whatever way he wanted. And this is my last realization that I want to share is that Amma, I realized that after seeing you interact with so many beautiful children like Aradhya or my nephews, you made all of them have fun doing Krishna consciousness. They would learn the shlokas just to make you happy. I saw how you impacted so many lives so deeply. You would have done this to any child you received. I am just the little stone-hearted soul that Krishna gave you, and you chiseled me into and took care of me like your own little deity, just like how Prabhupada wanted children to be taken care of. Even though so many times you said to me that you are lucky to have me, today I want to say that I won that argument, and I want to say that I'm the one who's lucky. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. I would like to thank you, all the devotees who are being with us and helped us. And we want to special thank to Nirakala Mataji, Vaisheshika Prabhu, our Guru Maharaj, all God brothers. Whenever she comes to the temple, before she comes to the temple, she always says that, oh, we want to go early, we want to serve. Especially we want to serve Vaisheshika Prabhu. And she always does that. And always Nirakala Mataji and Vaisheshika Prabhu always asked either Priya, someone else. And she also tells that, yes, they asked us. And they also say Hare Krishna to you. So that way we are so fortunate to be here. We want to specially thank our God sister Lalitangi Radha Devi Dasi. She is from Coimbatore. She was the one who inspired her to be in Krishna consciousness. We are very, very grateful to her because my family who were in Krishna consciousness, she is the one who guided my wife, and she guided. And she is, because of our inspiration and sacrifices, we are here and thanking you all. And we are very much thankful to everyone. We are so fortunate to be in this association. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So that wraps up the offerings from the ISV devotees. For the next part, we'd like to invite Vaisheshika Prabhu and Nirakala Mataji to come up and say some few words.
Hare Krishna. It's been so inspiring to hear all the different aspects and the different ways in which the devotees and Priya's family knew her. And my first really strong memory of Gandharvika comes from, even though we had association before this, comes from a walk that we took when we were at the Bascom temple. She wanted to reveal her heart to me and I to her, and it was a really, really wonderful and deep exchange that we had. And I always think of that when I think of Gandharvika, to have had that privilege of revealing our minds and hearts to each other really has stuck with me. And as Radhika Prem said, she worked on herself. She worked on improving herself, like that, what band, I'm not going to shout at someone today. And I saw over time, I saw how her diamond just got more and more polished, how she just became more and more glorious in her dealings and in her understanding of the philosophy. And she took it in. You can't do what Gandharvika did towards the end of her life if you haven't realized, if you haven't developed the rasa, the association, the relationship with the holy name. Her bones were breaking. They were shattering. I broke my pinky toe once. It was so painful. She endured that for years. She had to wear that brace constantly because her bones just couldn't hold up her head anymore. It was, I can't imagine the pain that she was in, and that she was able to focus and stay in such a loving and Krishna conscious mood, never complaining. All of us had that experience with her. Whenever we talked to her, she wouldn't even tell about the pain unless I asked. And then she would just say what it was and move on. That's what she wanted to do. I'm grateful to Srila Prabhupada and Krishna that Priya was able to find such a nice husband and get married in her presence, because that was a concern for her. She wanted to make sure you were settled. And she loved Sharad Hari Mukunda. We were a little jealous a little bit sometimes. But it was perfect. It was a perfect arrangement. And then she could let that go. Krishna was just making all of these arrangements for her so that she could really, really just detach in the most Krishna conscious way. So I won't take too much more, but we know that verse from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, when Lord Chaitanya was conversing with Ramananda Roy, and he said to him, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, of all kinds of distress, what is the most painful? And Sri Ramananda Roy replied, apart from the separation from the devotee of Krishna, I know of no unbearable happiness. And down in the purport, this is from the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Out of all kinds of desirable things experienced in the life of a living entity, association with the devotees of the Lord is the greatest. When we are separated from a devotee, even for a moment, we cannot enjoy happiness. We were all blessed to have the saint of Gandharvika Radhika in our midst. She wanted to serve devotees, and she served till the end by her example. She didn't even give up her service for as long as she could. She kept being the one to arrange the classes. She would she would post, okay, what the Chad reading. She did her service, that kind of service, for as long as she possibly could, beyond what I could even imagine doing because of her physical condition. But she served us all in her example to the end, and I will be eternally grateful to her for that. And for her daughter, Priya, who whenever I see her, I have that feeling that Gandharvika is still with us. Thank you.
Om Jnanadimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Meditam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Madobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadahmayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Scha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Tam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvatutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nitai Gaur Premanande Haribol. Many places in the Srimad Bhagavatam and in Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings and elsewhere has mentioned that the most desirable and advantageous of all activities is to serve a devotee, and the most beneficial is to have association with pure devotees, because, as we've heard, just a moment's association or a fraction of a second can instill something in our hearts that is undeniable, which is a spark awakened that's come into a flame of desire to serve Krishna. It's naturally there, but it requires some contact with somebody whose spark has already conflagrated and is turned into a fire. And there's a way in which we don't know the qualities of a devotee sometimes until the devotee leaves the world. For instance, today while I'm sitting and listening, I was so impressed by all the Gandharvika Radha's family members speaking. It's like, wow, they're all devotees. They all have tilak and neck beads, and they spoke so with so many unique realizations about her, about her son-in-law, her brother-in-law spoke about how we can see that even somebody's who's not got a big position or a title of some kind, who stays in the process of Krishna consciousness. Of course, noticed by us here in the community, but on a world scale, who is that person? But when we examine her life through the eyes of so many who knew her, both in a familial relationship and in certainly our relationship, and even in our relationship, I heard so many observations today that I hadn't known about the relationship that she had with everybody, and each one of them had its own special nuance to it. And it was all in the context of her pure devotional service, and it comes out. And I was considering how important community is, because there's a way in which we're practicing devotional service. We're hearing from Bhagavad Gita and discussing the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. Along with that, we have to see practical examples. Sometimes during a lifetime, we might think of somebody and say, well, they're not a pure devotee. How's it actually working? Or one might look at oneself and say, I'm not a pure devotee. How do I know this is even working? But when we're in a community and throughout the years in our association with devotees who, to one degree or another, we can take for granted. Because, oh yeah, she's here, he's here, they're always here. And then when they're not here, suddenly, which seems to happen so quickly, because when I consider these dates being bandied about here, 2019, 2004, I mean, what's it to us? At least for me, I don't really keep track of time that much. But it just seems like they were here, now they're not here. She was here, and now she's not here. And in the wake of her presence here, so many observations about her mood of pure devotional service come from all the different devotees. And juxtaposed with our long discussions on philosophy and so forth, and reading the books, then we see the practical result in someone's life. And that becomes a kind of binding agent between the philosophy and our understanding of how Krishna consciousness works. That happens in a community, because I was considering earlier how, since we're all together, and I'm unlimitedly glad we are, somehow or other Krishna put us all together, there's a way in which we see weddings, we see births, and now more and more, and those who are younger and starting to grow up, you're starting to see people leave, which when you're really young, you don't see that much usually. You just think, well, yeah, we'll probably live forever. That other thing about death is not so relevant, but when it becomes more relevant, and especially it's one of ours, then it becomes completely relevant, and also in our observations of the way, as an example, Gandharvika Radhika lived her life and what she meant to us while she was here, and the way she positioned herself, like right there, always. That, it reveals something to us. It starts to become solidified in our realization about how, okay, I may not notice even how much Krishna consciousness is working in my life, but as I'm staying in this little pot of a community and it's being stirred and the heat's turned up, somehow or other there's a really nice preparation that's coming out. And this is extraordinary. It's something, first of all, we have the context to understand. That is, we know, because Krishna talks about it so much that some people don't even want to hear it, because can you talk about something else besides leaving your body? Or the Srimad Bhagavatam, that's what it's about, remembering God at the time of death. And when it actually happens in our community and we hear about it, then we understand, okay, first of all, that's the goal. Second of all, it happens more quickly than you can expect. And third of all, if one is serious about the simple aspects of Krishna consciousness that we've been given and the practices that we have, that one can attain something that's legendary. The kind of departure and the ways in which not only she lived her life and didn't waste time and sat in the front row and always wanted to hear about Krishna. And I remember my dearest memories are of the times on Janmashtami when we went all day long and nobody kicked us out, even for washing the floor. We just stayed all day, and she never left. I'd sit there all day long, and we just go one bhajan after another, and then read more 10th canto, and then go. And she was always there, and always in the same posture, which was leaning in and like, yes, yes, and then, what else? And by the way, and ask another question. And where do you find a soul like that? I mean, but then if we think about it, that's who everybody is here. As she's, if you take a pot, you take a grain out of the pot, and you say, okay, what's it like? What's the community like? I forgot. Well, it's just rice. No, it's not. Every person who's here has some special assignment by Krishna. All this, the kids coming in, being born here, the adults who get transferred here apparently because of a job change or something like that. It's all for a higher purpose. And these add up in our lives as we live. We're cultivating Krishna consciousness, we're learning verses, but we're experiencing what it's like to see the departure of our nearest and dearest. And as we've heard today, throughout her family, throughout the community, everybody who knew her loved her and felt inspired by Gandharvika Radha. I had great fortune of handing over the Chad to her one fine day at Bascom Avenue, because she was ready for it, ready for anything. And she carried it forward for, I can't remember how long, 15 years, maybe more, 15 years. And so many other services that she did. But the best of it all is just having known her, that she was one of us. She was doing what we all do, albeit in excellent form. And look at what the result was. That's practically all we need to know, to be encouraged to stay the course no matter what kinds of distractions there are in the world, as just be a Gandharvika Radha. And everything's going to be fine. Not only that, it's so joyous to be in that service mood your whole life. And even if you're extremely ambitious, this is the place for you, because you can always push harder. You can always learn more, teach more classes, or scale up whatever you want to scale up. Nobody's going to stop you. Krishna will just empower you more and more, as he did her. If you want to get into your rounds more and more, you can do that. We miss her dearly, and I can say that with this memorial, it's like I was thinking of other analogies, grinding some sandalwood. The qualities come out more and more, and then it pervades the environment. And then it's not like an ordinary scent. When we hear about a devotee, a pure devotee, someone who left the world successfully and throughout her life had integrity in every way that we know of, then that memory becomes something that enlivens our senses in Krishna consciousness and gives us this faith of practicing in community, helping one another. And it also reminds me acutely how important it is to appreciate the devotees while they're here. because it's easy to take, again, I said, for granted, but we don't know how long we have. And it's the best of community when we can have that sense that everybody who's here has that special designation of being extremely dear to Krishna because they're devotees. So we can remember her example, the way she wouldn't criticize, the way she would put full focus into what's most important, taking shelter of the holy name. And then we can apply that as much as possible with one another in this community that Krishna has given us, so that we can also become pure devotees and have the same way of leaving the world that Krishna advocates for in both the Srimad Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita and elsewhere. Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Shri Panchatattva, Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, Shri Shri Lakshmi Nrsingadev, if you so desire, please empower us to keep the mood and spirit of pure devotional service that our dear Gandharvika Radhika Devi Dasi exhibited in her life close to our hearts. May we always remember her as a great champion of the cause of chanting Hare Krishna and spreading the teachings of Bhagavad Gita all over the world. And may we never take for granted any of the devotees in our midst. And may we never take any of the time that we have left, whatever that may be, for granted in our lives. Thank you for considering our request. Om Tat Sat. Everyone who agrees with this prayer, in whole or in part, please say Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. And now, Prikishori asked me to sing Jaya Nilo Premadana, which is a beautiful song that we sing when we're feeling separation from the great Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. And it's expressing a lament that what will I do without the association, in this case, Gandharvika Radha. Yeah. Oh, slideshow.
You're going to do the slideshow.
You should start the music in the background, unless you're going to give a narration. Well, either way, it's okay. Okay. Why don't you start Ian because that's a little more the tune, and then we'll go right into it.
Yeah, but she's going to have a slideshow up on the screen.
I know. We're not singing Jay and Ayla, we're just singing the tune. Just play the tune while the slideshow goes, then we're going to sing. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yanilo Premalana Karunya Heno Prabhu Kota Gela Acharya Taku Ahamon Swarup Rupa Kahadas Raghunata Patita Bhava Kavira Ekakale Kota Gila Dora Nagara Anale Pashiva Gauranga Gunera Nidhi Kota Gile Bhavo Shesham Shangira Shanghe Jai Koilo Bila Sheshanga Napaya Kande Narotamoda Shesham Paya Kande Narotamoda Now translation. Translation. He who brought the treasure of divine love, who is filled with compassion and mercy, where is such a personality as Srinivasa Acharya gone? Where are my Swarup Damodar and Rupa Goswami? Where is Sanatan? Where is Raghunath Das, the savior of the fallen? Where are my Raghunath Bhatta and Gopal Bhatta? And where is Krishnadas Kaviraj? Where did Lord Gauranga, the great dancer, suddenly go? I will smash my head against the rock and enter into fire. Where will I find Lord Gauranga, the reservoir of all wonderful qualities? Being unable to obtain the association of Lord Gauranga, accompanied by all these devotees, in whose association he performed his pastimes. Narottam Das simply weeps. And today, all the members of our community, in our hearts and from our eyes, are weeping in separation from Her Grace Gandharvika Radha Devi Dasi. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayom Vishwapad Hamsa Prirajakacharsha Shtotarashishimad Bhai Charanada Vinda Bhaktivedanta Sai Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayom Vishwapad Hamsa Prirajakacharsha Shtotarashishimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavini Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Zakahushi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sri Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Jamuna Devi Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Sambeta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the symbol devotees. All glories to the symbol. All glories to the symbol. The grace Gandharvika Radha Devi Dasi Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna. On behalf of my father, Sharad Vihari, and myself, I want to thank all of you so much for coming here, to be here and see my mother. One thing I was thinking throughout this ceremony is that she would have never sat here and listened to everything. So this would have only been the only time we could have glorified her in front of her. So otherwise, she never liked it even interpersonally between us. If I ever glorified her, she would think it's too much. So I'm really grateful that we got this opportunity. Two things I want to request forgiveness for. First is those devotees who I requested to speak, but I didn't allow due to the schedule. I'm sorry for causing that inconvenience. Secondly, you all are a big family to us, but a lot of you came to know about my mom's cancer much later, and I always personally felt very guilty and sorry that I didn't let you all know. But it was her desire to fight and remain strong and show you all her best side. And we were just respecting our wishes, so kindly forgive us for not including you as a part of that journey, but you still are very, very dear to us. The best part of the program is ahead, which is prasadam. And we all helped my father prepare the things that Amma would have liked. So we made uttapam. So she always liked uttapam better than dosa because it's soft. And then there's sambar with all the vegetables. Like in Tamil we say nattu kaigari, means like our hometown vegetables, like white pumpkin and all these things. Then there's biryani, which Amma loved. And then raita with, again, different vegetables, not just cucumber, but other hometown vegetables. Then we have meduvada, chutney, and then payasam, chakra pongal, and gulab jamun. So. So I hope during this feast you remember her, and in her honor we can all have prasadam together. Thank you very much. Hari Bol.
Can you turn the lights back on, please? Sharira Vijata Jodendriya Kaheka Jive Pere Vishaya Shavare Dhamma Jivati Loba Moshugunati Krishna Gori Bare Chinoja Shreyanamrita Pao Radha Krishna Gunagam Venerato Sri Chaitanya Nihai Venerato Sri Chaitanya Nihai. We do a million more verses, but Nicole just told me we're late. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. And if we did do a million more verses, your mom would have sat there.
Few couple of acknowledgements that I forgot earlier. First, I'd like to thank His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj and his personal servant, His Grace Mahavara Prabhu, who also expressed their desire that we all come together and glorify Amma. Secondly, I would like to thank Nirakala Mataji and Hansapriya Mataji for guiding us through this memorial process and helping us come together in this way. And I'd like to thank you and Prabhu for always being there for us. This program and this entire life would not be the same without you. And before you go, there's a little return gift, and some of them have explanations and some don't, so I'll give a general explanation. After the card, there's a little sachet that has a couple seeds in it, and when you plant it, it'll grow into a beautiful little wildflower plant. So you can place it next to your Tulsi Maharani. So you just put soil and then the palette, and then a little bit more soil and water, and then it'll grow in sunlight. And you can put it next to your Tulsi Maharani and hopefully remember Amma. Thank you. Please collect it before you go. Thank you.
Please come take prasadam. Vanchakalptarishya kripasinvacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.